CFL Fans in the USA podcast. My name is Rick Crabb, and joining me on the line is the moderator of the Facebook group, Mr. Phil Hall. Phil, thanks for joining. I'm glad we can get this project going.
Oh yeah, let's rock and roll. I just want to say, hey, how you doing? From the United States, America, or anywhere around this world to watch it. This is a good product, and we're gonna do our best, to show y'all product, everything. So let's get it going, man. I can't wait. I can't wait for in 2 weeks, man.
Yeah, no doubt. The regular season starts in 2 weeks, as you mentioned, and we had a lot of excitement going on this past weekend with the preseason games. So my first question with you, Phil, is what are some observations you made with any of the games at all?
I got a couple observations. The first game I talk about the Ottawa and Montreal. The first observations I say is they got good quarterback staff there. We might have a quarterback we might have a quarterback duo between Meyer and Drew Brown, because against Meyer was looking good against the Montreal #1 defense, and the first round pick for Caro, he was hell on his own. He let one sack go, but he was blocking, he was covering the blitz and all that stuff. But it was amazing how Meyer was throwing the ball, and I think Dinwiddie's making it happen. So we'll see about that. And Montreal. They played their stars. I'm worried about the whole Davis Alexander injury. I know it's precautionary, but we don't know. Can he stay healthy for the whole season? We don't know. That's the problem with that. He's the gunslinger. He's trying to. Davis Alexander, the injury scares me, but who knows? That defense is still legit. Philpott is still legit, and that's that game is, I think Ottawa might turn some heads, but who knows with that.
I have a feeling, between that and just some things I read about, it seems like both Ottawa in offense and Edmonton in defense, we'll talk about later, seems like they're trying to improve their standings a little bit, and they might be leaving my and Brandy's Argos in the dust. Hopefully not. But.
Yeah, man, I know she love her Argos, and basically, and be a lookout, there's a youth movement coming around for, I'll get more to this, there's a lot of good young quarterbacks, even the old guys like Trevor Harris and Collares. There might be some good guys coming up in the future, maybe be good in the CFL in a couple of years. We'll see,
All right. Now, let me ask you this, Bill, since I mentioned in the group, I just started following the CFL, basically the beginning of last year, and what inspired me was seeing a movie about the Baltimore team from the 90s, and I just started catching interest in it again. With Toronto, what's your take on what's happened with them the last few years? I mean, they won 2 Grey Cups in 3 seasons, and then last season, they only won 5 games. Fortunately, one of them was one me and Kim went to. Maybe we should channel our Danhausen powers and go to more Argos games. I don't know. I mean, is it the injury to Kelly, or are there other problems that, we don't know about? Or
I think the thing was the injury in Kelly, but also there's a lot of people that left, and pretty much I think Kelly was a big guy, but I think there's a lot of guys that who was there, won the championship, wasn't really there last year, and basically they come off the gate, they lost a lot of close games last year, and they never bounced back for anything. I remember week 2 they played against Saskatchewan. They did everything possible to win that game, but Alpha ran back a touchdown, and then ever since then, and that whole couple of weeks, they just lost close games. They lost close games at Montreal with Davis Alexander coming back and scored. To me, and I think it was coaching. and also injuries. So
Right.
they got new regime. Arbuckle's back on the bench, and who knows? Like, they might be good this year, but
Right, yeah, because the game we went to, Arbuckle was playing, and I think he had like 3 picks, and then I think they had another fumble. I mean, it was incredible how many turnovers Toronto had, and they still won that game. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, which game you went to?
This was in September. It was against Edmonton. It was.
I remember that.
I think it was It was September 12th. I remember that because Kim's birthday is the 10th. We went to the Orioles Blue Jays game on the 11th, and then we went to Argos on the 12th. So yeah, that's when it was.
Yeah, and another thing, and personally, I think like Toronto, like, let's face it, they're the biggest city in Canada. Like, I kind of wish it would like sell out, but I don't know what the deal is. But who knows? Maybe it's in a different area of Toronto. I haven't been to that stadium yet, but basically, it's not sold out. I kind of wish that bad boy be rocking,
Right. And the stadium is it's a small MLS stadium. It's very similar to Audi Field in Washington, except Washington, they have their more end zone seats, and BMO has more sideline seats. But it was funny you mentioned that, because when I went there, I spoke to people at the baseball game and then at the Argo game itself. And the Argo game, obviously, they had a lot of hardcore fans, and, there was one guy we met in line. He was really nice. He actually bought Kim and I souvenirs when we went in there, because it's, our first game in Canada, but,
Yeah.
But the Blue Jays game, I found it was interesting, because I realized the Blue Jays are the national team. They're not just all. A lot of people go to those games. They're not all from Toronto, and they, some of them, and some of the people who live there, they want an NFL team. They think, well, we're big enough. We have teams in every other league. We have Major League Baseball, NHL, NBA, women's hockey, MLS. Now they even have a WNBA team starting next season. But they feel like the CFL. There's one guy I even spoke to. He said, he asked if I was going to all 3 Orioles Blue Jays games. I told him, no, we're going to Argos. He's like, why are you wasting your time with that? That stuff's minor league, man. You're from Baltimore. You're wearing Orioles stuff. Why you have the Ravens? Why don't you just watch them? I'm like, I do, but we're up here. We want to see some Canadian ball too. But
for sure.
Yeah, and he said, but if a lot of people they want an NFL team, but they don't want the Bills, and they feel like management is courting the Bills more than they are concentrating on the Argos themselves. So that's
and that's the problem there. Like that, like, I remember they tried to have Toronto football in Buffalo, and it still wasn't sold out.
Right.
And the crazy thing is, like, the problem is, and this is the problem in the CFL itself, like, they're not. Like, there is fans in Toronto, there is fans in Vancouver, but yet they're not making it accessible to the fans and the people. Like, why not, like, I don't know, is it on local TV, or you have to pay extra to get the TSN or something like that? Like, make it more accessible, make it more known. People talk about minor league football stuff. Make it known, like, this is the team. Toronto had the most Grey Cups out of all of them. Come down to BMO Field. Like, we like to sell out. Like, we don't have to have 50 cents doing a concert for BC to sell out for one game. And this is like 2 of their big cities right there, and it can go so much if you sell out Vancouver and sell out in Toronto, and it would do a lot more good for this league.
Oh, definitely. Especially since TSN and the league offices and all are based in Toronto also. I think that's... And that's one thing I've read in our group. People were complaining, like, in other cities. It's like, oh, they keep trying to prop up Toronto, but nobody goes to their games, and it's like... And it seems like the Western Division teams, it seems like they have more fan support, but I guess, kind of like Saskatchewan, they don't have anything else. I mean, it's like Winnipeg, they just got back to Jets, but for a while, CFL was all they had, and Calgary and Vancouver. I mean, they've had CFL and NHL for a long time, but it's,
and like I said, like they need to. Like basically, you need to have people like I'm talking about like the CFL people. They need to go to the city and say, "Hey, how can we can make people come in to see?" Like that's like you don't need rules. Like you want more people because you want to watch the rule for new rules. I don't think so. You need to talk to the people within your city and say, "Hey, what works and what don't work."
right.
And like you got. Like you go to America, and I'm not trying to America and Canada. This you go to minor league baseball. No one can care less about minor league team, but guess what? They find a way to say, "Hey, what works in this town?" And people will come, and you're always going to have sellouts. You're always going to have people coming in, and guess what? You got people coming in. So,
and I think one key to that is families. You get kids saying, "Mommy, take me, Daddy, take me." You get that, and it's like you get them to come in because, like the Argos, all right, I mean, it was a fun experience. Don't get me wrong, and they had 2 promotions that day. It was like a salute, kind of like their version of salute to service, where they had like a salute to their military. But then they were also promoting a John Candy biopic from his son, and because Candy was a former owner, they gave away John Candy T-shirts there, which that stuff's kind of cool. And oddly enough, the trip we're going to miss this Argos game. They're playing Edmonton again. It's WWE Day, and I'm like, man.
But I want to go to that now, man.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, it's like Canada. It's like, maybe Trish Stratus will be there. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe somebody on Legends contract. I'm trying to think who's there that's Canadian and popular right now. But
maybe I'm trying to think. Well, all the Canadians is in AEW. Like I'm trying to think maybe Chelsea Green, but Chelsea Green is more Vancouver. But you can have her there. You can have Kevin Owens. You can have Sami Zayn. Even though they're Montreal, but you still
right.
Like, this is what CFL PR rep need to do. You need to contact like celebrities and stuff like that, and show the product to the world. Say, hey, look, I've seen stuff lately. I've seen Drake the rapper. He wearing a Winnipeg Blue Bomber jersey. He wearing a Danny McManus jersey.
Right.
I've seen Will Ferrell wearing a BC jersey. So is Ryan Reynolds, and that's what the thing is. Like, you're gonna think if you got people, what you need to do is not catering to us Americans. You need to cater to the people in Canada, and you can't sell out these games. You just have to promote it right. That's what I'm trying to say.
I agree. And well, that might lead to our next topic as far as the rules. But before we get to that, is there anything else on the preseason games you want to mention?
Pretty much the preseason, like everything. Like Edmonton looked good, even though like BC is they didn't play their starters and stuff, but Edmonton, I really like Edmonton too. Like I like how they play. I like the coach. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Like hard nosed. You got players who are gonna run through the wall for this guy, and they may not be the greatest team, but guess what? They will beat a couple of games against Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, and Calgary. Like, I love how Rankin play. I love Pajaro, and also love their draft pick. Like, their draft pick is pretty good. They got the guy from Rutgers, Dara Jarby. I don't know, but he was good. I remember him playing against Penn State. He had like 3 sacks in one game, and he's gonna be a beast up there. And I really like Winnipeg. I really like Saskatchewan. Calgary, even though they was off this week, but Calgary, the Philpott and Adams, they look like mid-season form. And let me see. I got my little stat here. Hold up. pretty much Toronto, and they look solid. Their backups look solid. Hamilton, even though now Hamilton, I think Hamilton's the top team, but my worry is the running game. But I think Roundtree the third might do good, but who knows? You know.
Yeah, he had a good run against the Argos last week. Yeah, but
they need the camera, the TSN. That was out of all the CFL plus the TSN was the worst one. It looked like a high school game with the camera, water, and everything.
Right.
You know?
Well, that's what cracked me up about a lot of these games. It's like most of them, it's kind of like if they weren't on TSN or RDS, it looked like it was kind of like a hard game, like a Calgary game was, for example. And usually it's like a handheld camera, and then you have like local home team radio, like it had like the Calgary's AM radio or whatever, for the play-by-play.
And also, like even the BC game, call me crazy. I really like the small venue thing. Like it was playing at Langford, but it was a packed house. And even the Saskatchewan game, it was at the University of Saskatoon. It was a packed house. Like I know there's only 6,000 people at the game, but a packed house is a lot different than a half-empty stadium, you know?
Right, and that's the thing I've seen with the UFL and the DC Defenders. Their stadium only holds about maybe 20 tops. And about the same as BMO without the temporary World Cup seats. But that place, even if it's half full, if that crowd's into it, 10,000 can sound like 40,000 or 50,000.
Yeah, exactly. And I think TSN, and this is the past couple of years. I understand they showed where the sun angled. I kind of wish they'd show the other side, because if you look, I know some people went to that game. If you go to the other side, it's packed on the other side, like without the camera angle, because no one would. I have season tickets to Steeler games, and sitting in the sun. This ain't no fun, you know?
Right.
Yeah, so all good. So we'll see, you know?
Okay. All right. We'll see. Yeah, and it's like, and I noticed with the funny thing with the Montreal game, they had like RDS with the graphics, but then they had the English language radio with that too. And it's like they had, like when Ottawa scored a touchdown, it would be Rouge de whatever Ottawa, instead of Red Blacks, whatever the French Canadian equivalent is to that. But I thought that was kind of funny.
I have a buddy, he's a Montreal fan, and I had to hey, what's this say? What this say? Speaking to stuff like that. So every time I do something on the Facebook page, I had to get a translator. I had to translate the Facebook page of the Montreal West, so that people know what's going on, you know, so and they do a lot of good things up in Montreal too, so they did the smart thing. They got out of Olympic Stadium and they went to a college stadium and they packed the house, and they had a record so many games sell out or something like that.
Nice.
You know.
Now I was wondering if it's a permanent solution for them, or are they going to move back into Olympic? Because I understand they're trying to rebuild it for other things.
I think I really don't know what they're doing with it. I think Olympic Stadium is trying to rebuild, because I know they're trying to. They really MLB is trying to have more expansion teams. So
right.
we know the two upfront expansion team is definitely Nashville and Montreal, so
right.
they're going to try to rebuild that Montreal Olympic Stadium, so it'll be baseball friendly or maybe football friendly, but who knows, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure they're hungry for it, because I even saw in Toronto there was one store that actually sold Expos merchandise in there, so I was so
I went to Olympic Stadium when the Pirates was playing. There, that was 2003 maybe, or 2002, I don't know, around that time. And even like even the darkest day, there still was packed house up there. So,
Nice.
and the crazy thing is, they was like when I was talking about, oh yeah, I watched CFL. They was talking about Mike Pringle. I'm like, I know about Mike Pringle. He used to play for Baltimore.
Yep.
Like, he's an animal, you know. You know.
Him and
like,
Tracy Ham, and yeah, a lot of that whole team for the first year, I think. But
yeah. And it's like, hey, make sure you find a way to watch on the internet because he's gonna break the record. I'm like, all right, you know.
Cool.
You know. Yeah. So he was the man. You know, Montreal's good people. I love Montreal.
Oh. And my uncle told went up there, and when I told him I went to Toronto, he asked how I liked it. I said I liked it a lot. He said, yeah, I like Toronto, but he liked Montreal more, mainly because he used to be a Franciscan prior, a priest, and I think Montreal has a lot of like old kind of like Gothic architecture, like a lot of old churches and stuff like that, kind of modeled. I don't know, kind of modeled after the French, I guess, but
yeah, like I say, I love Montreal, and you know, and one day I want to take my wife to Quebec. I told her, because I've been to Quebec, I was like, why save money to go to, why not go to, if we don't have enough money to go to Paris, let's alternate, let's go to Quebec, because it's like Paris too, so, you know. Yeah, so basically, like, Montreal, those French-Canadian towns up there is amazing, and they love their sport, and they don't think the Alouettes is minor leagues, and that's the beautiful thing about it, you know?
That's good. Okay. Well, actually, Phil, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about, you mentioned expansion before. There are two cities in the CFL talking about expansion, and we'll talk about rules and a bunch of other things, and we'll be right back.
The first half of the 1965 Grey Cup game is brought to you by 7-Up and the 7-Up bottler in your community. 7-Up, where there's action.
All right, folks, welcome back to the CFL Fans in the USA podcast here on YouTube. Rick Crabb here with Facebook group moderator Phil Hall. Now, Phil, you mentioned before the break about expansion with Major League Baseball. CFL is talking about expansion with two cities. Let's talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, and I heard, even though I'm looking at the internet and looking at articles, I heard there's a play, and it's just a long time coming. Maybe it's like a seed starting to plant. I heard American developer is trying to get looking at places in Halifax to build a $1.5 billion entertainment and a football stadium, so they can have a football team, a soccer team. They're trying to make like a Foxwood casino up there. So that's the thing. Now the question is, they're trying to find the location. I heard the location is 30 minutes from Halifax. It might not be a good idea. I also heard another rumor that it might have it down at the waterfront. But the fact is, there is some movements of maybe the Halifax finally will get the schooners in motion.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to ask if they were. That's the one they want to call themselves, the Atlantic Schooners, right?
Yeah, I hope so. I really do. You know, so
right.
Like it's been saying. I think it'd be a great idea. We need some teams, and it's a fast growing city up in Halifax, and people surprised like they got fans up there, and they're all for it. It just the problem is the government or the provinces up there is not putting any money to any funds of a stadium or whatnot. They expect CFL or whoever owner to put all their money into it. So that's the problem right there.
Right.
Yeah. So
I remember Halifax years ago, following minor league hockey here when Baltimore had an AHL team. There used to be a team called the Halifax Citadels who were with the Quebec Nordiques. I saw them play a couple of times.
Oh, nice. And pretty much Halifax. And I know that Pittsburgh, there will be a couple of Pittsburgh fans will like Halifax because whatever Crosby they'll like,
Mm-hmm.
so that's the thing. And not only you got this Halifax, you got Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, they'll support this. And what I hope this developer will talk to them and the CFL, let's get this going. So that's one teams I heard.
Uh-huh.
Another team, another city I heard is I guess it was a radio, and I heard this on Three Down. What that Three Down something.
Yeah, I saw the clip for it, but yeah, I forget the name of the site.
Yeah, so they was talking about there was a guy from Montreal. He was talking about, hey, out Quebec, hey, let's have a football team in Quebec. And say, I really want a CFL team in Quebec, but here's the problem: we don't want this team to play where their top college team plays at.
Right.
And they say, hey, we all for a CFL team. We just want you to build the stadium. Everyone else in Quebec is all for a CFL team. Just to let you know, now they had to talk to these people. Let's get in a room and say, hey, who's gonna pay for a new stadium? That's the $1 billion question right there. And the thing is, we're gonna talk about the rules later on this. If we get this 2 teams, or let's just get one team, this 8-team playoff would be less ridiculous.
Right.
And go ahead.
Yeah, like you said, and it'll be an Eastern Division team, so the divisions will be even too. You won't have that carryover nonsense either.
Yeah. And then they're people's talking about 12 teams and all this stuff. I just want them to get to 10, and then let's talk about 11 and 12. And if we get to 10 teams, especially Quebec, I think CFL. I think the people in the CFL, they really want a team in Quebec City. And I think they'd rather have a team in Quebec than Halifax because they talk to the fans up there. They all for a CFL team. Right. Can you imagine? Can you imagine right now? Let's see, their Labor Day weekend, Montreal versus the Quebec team. That would be amazing.
That would be. But that's one thing I was going to ask you. And we see it with leagues in this country. I know Montreal and Quebec used to be separate cities in the NHL back in the day, but would there ever be a case where Montreal be no, hold on, Quebec City's part of our territory, that kind of thing? You think there'd be any kind of a conflict there, or?
It's a possibility, but it's all about making money, right? And you got to have a capitalism way of thinking.
True.
CFL is losing money, and they throwing everything in the wall and trying to see a stick. And the outside saying, hey, this ain't gonna work, But hey, maybe we have an expansion teams, maybe like Quebec. You have regional rivalries. That's more money revenue.
True.
Imagine Quebec playing Toronto. That's more people going to come to Quebec. Or that's more Quebec people going to go to Toronto. Quebec versus Hamilton, or Quebec versus Ottawa.
Sure.
That'll be. This is all about making money, and that's what it's all about.
And that kind of leads to our next topic as far as these new rules coming up, with one of them that they're already starting this year that they had in the preseason games. Allegedly, that's the commissioner thinks that's going to make them some money, but I don't know. There's some rules we'll get in.
Yeah, for sure. And the rules change. I totally. Now, there's a couple of rules I'm cool with, but majority of these rules, I just don't understand why you want to change the product. Like,
right.
I really don't understand that one bit. So,
yeah, there's some, like, ones I'm real cool with. Well, I'm not saying I'm neutral on, I'll say. The ones where they're changing as far as the end zone depth, I get it, because there are some stadiums like Montreal and Toronto, they can't, their stadiums aren't big enough to hold the end zones as big as they want to. I mean, I think it's like 20 feet now, and then I think BMO is like they could only do like 18 feet or something like that, and Montreal has those weird triangular corners because they can't fit in their stadium. So I can understand making the field smaller. Not a big fan of them doing away with 110 yards, because I mean, to me that's Canada. That's Canada's hockey and poutine and whatever else you can think of it. Dudley Do Right, anything else you think of Canadian. You know what I mean? It's just.
Now, I got a question for you. Are they keeping the 60-yard width? Like, are they going to keep that, or are they going to try to shorten the 60-yard width?
That I'm not sure. I have a feeling they're going to try to shorten that. That I don't know for sure. The only thing I do know for sure is they'll make it 100 yards. They're going to trim the end zone from 20 yards deep to 15 yards deep. And the commissioner is saying, well, we're still bigger than the American leagues in the United States. But come on, dude. It's like.
Yeah.
And they're, of course, what else? They're also moving the goalpost to behind the end zone instead of in front of it. That, I don't know. I don't know. Again, it's kind of a quirky thing I like for Canadian, but I can understand. I could see either side with that one.
Yeah. And the problem I'd say about the commissioner about it, I just think he never, like, he may be a fan like you and me, but he never played the game.
Right.
And I just think because he used to be a big assess from TSN. So the thing is, my problem is like, what's the end game of this? Like,
right.
What are you trying? Like, are you trying to get American teams, or are you trying to make American eyeballs? Because this.
Or Canadian fans that are NFL fans and trying to bring them over. I don't, they might, because I have met a few people up there like that. They're like, they just watch the NFL,
And that's the problem, man. People, basically your two big cities you want to appease is Vancouver and Toronto.
Right.
And that's simple as that. The problem is that Vancouver got Seattle. Toronto got Buffalo. And everything else is just like, okay, they don't care about, like, all the fan bases of the Hamiltons and the Winnipeg. I remember NFL tried to have a game in Winnipeg, and they failed miserably. Now, I don't know if you remember that preseason game. They had the Raiders and Packers, and they tried to put the goalpost in back. They couldn't do it. They had to, like, saw off the goalpost. They had to play 80 yards. They had to play 80 yards of football, and it was hilarious. You got to look that up on YouTube, man. That was Winnipeg is and the thing is, it's like NFL, like, I think Johnson trying to appease the people who's the casual fans that watch only for the Grey Cup, and pretty much the casual fans like NFL more than CFL, and he trying to get these people to watch it and all that stuff, and that's not the target you need to do. Like, hey, like, what are you doing?
Right. I think also, too, when you mentioned as far as trying to catch American fans, I think this commissioner probably sees Goodell having the NFL play in Europe and Brazil and Mexico and Australia, all these other countries. It wouldn't surprise me they're going to try to do that themselves. Because, Yeah, because it was like, I think I told you offline, off the air or in the group. When I went to the Stallions documentary, they had a question and answer session with some of the players and the former owner Jim Spiros. And Mr. Spiros said he wanted to bring a CFL preseason game to M&T Bank Stadium. And when I heard this, I was thinking, yeah, that's cool. I would go to it, but it's like, how are you going to fit that in there? Because Memorial Stadium, they could fit the field because they had that opened end. They could just, plant some more grass, and they have enough for a field. But M&T is just a small bowl, and, it's like the seats are real tight up against the end zones and the sidelines. So, I didn't know how they would do it, but I think this might be how they do it.
Yeah, and I think so, because all the stadiums I can't think of, like the big stadiums,
mm-hmm.
they can't fit 120-yard and 60-yard width stadium.
No.
And I think they're trying to shorten this, and like you got to take a look at the UFL. I don't know what their situation, their financial situation, and people laugh about me talking about merger and stuff like that.
Right.
I wouldn't throw that out of the book yet, and like think about it. They moving, and they talking about let's have regular season games start for Victoria Day and the beginning of May. I really think they don't want to interfere with the college football and the NFL doing their playoff year. So they want to have all the money they can get in May, June, July, and August.
Right.
And that's the outcome up there. They always going. I hate to say it like this, like they always going to be second best.
Right.
To NFL, and that's what I appreciate the CFL, because they're not going to try to go battle NFL.
No.
Now one thing I forgot to tell you about how they can make money, and this is a big crucial point of making money. This is coming in 2028. They had to. NFL say they're going to bring their guys in flag football. CFL need to bring their guys in flag football, and they have to show that they can hang with the NFL guys during this flag football.
Well, I heard Nathan Rourke's really involved with that too, so
yeah.
I'm hoping I would like to see that. I would like to see a good Canadian team against, like, I don't know, see like him against Patrick Mahomes or somebody. I mean, that would be fun to see.
Yeah, and and if they hold their own. And if they, like, I don't even say win, but, like, make it respectable, people will go to the CFL game and say, hey, we got Nathan Rourke. We got Bo Levi. Well, I think he'll retire by 2028. We got guys like Kenny Lawler. We got guys like, we got Dedrick Mills. We got Vernon Adams III. And guess what? There's more guys are coming, and people will come in, and that's what they need. They need that pump, and I think that flag football is the answer.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun, and it also help, I think, with expand into the other countries and continents, in Europe and Central South America and stuff too. So I'm all for that, definitely.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah. By the way, to sidetrack a little bit, you mentioned Lawler. Did you see the announcement today where I think the Ticats actually extended his contract? I saw a little flash about it.
Yeah, 3 years, $1 million as the highest paid wide receiver. And as a Ticat fan, he's worth every money to it. And the only goal is they're trying to get to the Grey Cup. And hell, my Knicks made it to the finals. Swords, last time they've been is 1999. Hamilton Tirecats, last time they won is 1999. So this is a good start, and I totally all for paying your stars. And they're going all in this year, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, you like to see that, and it's like, I know it used to be salaries were competitive with the NFL, but then the NFL just, they skyrocketed with those things. So,
oh yeah, it's all it's all how NFL's making money is because of TV deals and stuff like that.
Sure.
And TV deals, more ads and stuff like that, they're going to revenue more money.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I used to remember CFL used to be on ESPN, and I feel like I guess ESPN probably too expensive to have a game for the CFL, but I knew you have easy access to turn on ESPN to watch the Grey Cup and or regular season games, and they show every single regular season game on ESPN Plus, and it sucks because now, like the last couple of years, and I'm not bad mouthing CBS Sports for it, but CBS Sports show enough games possible, and guess what? You can't have CFL Plus at the same time. You got to buy CBS Sports Network to watch the game on your TV, and I think it's kind of ridiculous. And pretty much every year in and year out, I had to beg, write emails and write letters to CBS Sports, say, hey, please have the Grey Cup on TV so everyone can watch it.
Right.
So it's all revenue. That's the thing.
Well, I saw a video the other day talking about the rules and how he felt about it, but he said that the CFL fans in Canada, they want a few things that the commissioners kind of got that ear to. One of them is a video game, like their version of a Madden, I guess. And another thing, and you mentioned with the NFL, I think it's making it successful besides the TV. Gambling has helped that league immensely the last few years. I mean, if the CFL could do something like that too, I mean, they have like a fantasy league, but I mean, if they can get with, I don't know, FanDuel or whatever, and they may already be doing that, I don't know, but if they are, maybe do it more so. I don't know, what do you think of that?
So, back in the day before I got married, I did the whole, put a little money here, put money there. DraftKings, I don't know if they still do it. DraftKings have CFL bets, but you have to find it. You have to find it through others and all that stuff. It's right next to the snookers and crickets and stuff like that. CFL, and basically they have the thing is limited. That's the craziest thing. I kind of wish they had more detailed bets in them, in those little app things, hey, who scored first, how many yards did Lawler get, how many touchdown Calairs will have, how many interception then Barrett will get, stuff like that. Pretty much is plain and simple, this team's the favor, this team will score how many points, over and under, all that stuff. Who's going to win the Grey Cup? Right. I'll put $2 on Ottawa or some crap like that, and then hit it big, but who knows? And I think gambling, they're starting to have gambling up in CFL. It's just hard to find, and people just not making it known. And they finally doing fantasy football for CFL, but it's not. It's more like a daily. You remember back in the day they had daily fantasy football,
right?
Daily, so basically, and that's a good way to do it because there's only 9 teams, so pretty much hey, pick your best guys. You have a salary cap and blah blah blah. It's pretty. I like that idea for a 9-team league, So,
it would be tough to do where you have a head-to-head, where you draft teams and all that because there aren't enough players to do it probably.
Yeah, and then back to you say about video games. It sucks they don't have a video game. The only way I see it, because I used to do a thing after the season, after the Grey Cup happened. I'll have like you can do create a team from college football.
Right.
And you can download the teams that look exactly like, the stadiums look exactly like. You even got the names and the players. It's just long. They just don't say Hamilton. They don't say whatnot. I usually do I tell the UFC people, not UFC, UFL guys, like, all right, I'm going to do a simulation game of the Grey Cup, like the three of the best teams versus three of their best teams, and we play it. I'll put it on computer, and I'll put it on live. I'll put it on live on Facebook, and people get excited. Yeah, stuff like that. So
I'm not sure if it was our group or another group. I saw somebody did some skins where they had, like I said, they took like college football or NCAA or whatever, and they made skins of both UFL and CFL, and they had them playing each other. It's like I saw like the Defenders versus Argos, and I don't know, Tiger Cats versus Battlehawks and stuff. You know.
I did something like that 2 years ago, and I put it on live, and my thing is I don't know how to do it through Twitch or Discord or whatnot like that, but that's the least I can do on Facebook Live and stuff. I had it on the CFL my page, and also I did a joint guy from the UFL page, and like, hey, I'm gonna do this, and I want you to put this on your page and stuff like that, and it was good. You know, it sucks because CFL got handled by UFL, but it was a pretty cool thing to see. You know, like seeing even though a video game aspect, see CFL teams play on video games. And I remember like the early 2000s, I really thought they're going to have a CFL video game because they had Arena Football, they had NCAA baseball on EA. I remember I wrote a letter. I had all the stats. I had like everything, like, hey, this is how they play up there. I had the rules. I say 120 yards, 60 feet, you know. These are the teams. This guy, Cavillo, he broke the record. I had all this stats. This is back then when you don't have like emails and stuff. You send this like Pony Express mail. Right. And I sent all this stuff to EA. And then 2 months later, he gave me a letter with all my stuff back, saying, hey, we appreciate it, but we ain't going to do this, and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, at least keep the literature, you know?
Yeah, no
you know? Now, they did try to make video games of, they did try to do a CFL game, but it was like no rights. The CFL didn't have no rights to it, and the game was pretty much god-awful, and I downloaded this game. What was it called? Like Maximum Football 2018, and they had, like, it's funny, it was like, they had Saskatchewan, and they had, it ain't Saskatchewan, there was like some team in, they call them Regina or something.
Right.
It's like Regina versus Alberta, and it was the most ridiculous thing. Like they had the graphics. You try to throw the ball, they ain't even catching the ball. You just pretty much run, and it was like I give credit to people who try to do it, but it's trash. You know. Sounds
like how Tecmo Bowl used to be before they got the rights to the team names, where they just had like the Players Association. It's funny.
Yeah.
But
it's bad. Yeah, but you're right. They need a video game. They need, like, I don't know, like, technology is so good. It's like, you can definitely make a video game and definitely glue it out to the people around the world, you know? Like,
sure.
Yeah, like, I download games from, like, they had lacrosse games. Like, I heard my buddy told me, hey, download this lacrosse game. It's free. And he told me only 3 people developed this. And it was like legit. Like, this game was pretty good. And like, if 3 people can do this, you can do a football game. Like, you can do a CFL team. The crazy thing is it's so many hoops to get rights.
Right.
So CFL, you want to make money. There's so many avenues out there to do it. So, and why not try to explore that instead of tinkering rules? You know?
Yeah. And speaking of rules, as far as like other ones, one I'm kind of neutral on. Not spend too much time on it. Is that they're having the players' benches face each other like the NFL does, as opposed to having them on the same sideline. And I was surprised to find this, Bill. I thought all the CFL teams did this, but for a while it was like an East Coast West Coast thing. And then I think Calgary was like the only West team that had them all on the same sideline. But I know in Toronto, it was kind of like they might as well have used like the benches from Toronto FC, for the soccer, because that's what it looked like. You had like our end zone. We sat behind the end zone with all the Grey Cup banners, and like Toronto was closest to us, and I'm sorry, Edmonton was closest to us, and Toronto was farthest to us. But they were all like to our left. It was kind of weird.
Yeah. I love that, the whole opposite side stuff, because it kind of looked weird to have 2 teams on one side. I used to go to see Duquesne football, and it's quite crazy because the football's in the middle of the college, and it's small, and they had to put both teams on one side, and it was just like just a mess. Like they just like this, that, and this. Like it's just like I feel like they need their own personal space, and I feel like I like that idea a lot.
Right.
So I give them that. So
now there's one rule that they're actually executing this year, which I saw in the preseason games. A lot of people didn't like, and I'm joining their bandwagon. You probably are too. This rouge, what are they doing? It's a safety. It's not even a rouge anymore. It's just a safety from a kickoff now. Why,
So what are they doing now? What are they doing?
They don't allow rouges for missed kickoffs or punts that go past the end zone anymore. The only way you can get a rouge is if you kick a ball into the end zone and you tackle someone from the receiving team that has the ball in the end zone, like you would a safety. But they call that's what they're using for rouges now. It's only 1 point like a rouge, but the execution is really more like kind of like a safety, and that in CFL, any gridiron football. CFL has safeties too, but it's like a 1 point safety more or less. It looks dumb.
Okay. So if they say the ball go out of bounds, they put the ball like a 20-yard line or something like that, or whatnot.
They don't even do that. I saw one game, I think it was Ottawa and Montreal. They basically they kick it into the end zone, and a guy from the receiving team, I think it was from Ottawa, it might have been Montreal, I don't know. Anyway, he caught it in the end zone, and then they had like a bunch of like the kicking team guys chasing him around, and they finally tackled him in the end zone, and that's what they consider a rouge. That's the only way they'll give you a rouge, because the commissioner had that stupid thing of, he said you'd be rewarding failure if you missed a field goal and you still get the 1 point, But there were a lot of games where teams did that purposely, just, in case they missed a field goal. I don't know.
I think it's so stupid about that, and I just think I think one game out of millions of games they had a freak accident of missing a field goal and they won the game.
Right.
That's what you say. That's the quirks of the CFL. It's all strategic. Like, okay, should I give them the 1 point so I get it closer to so we have a closer score, 7 points, or okay, it's 3 minutes to go. Okay, let's if it is an end zone, you better run out or kick it away or something like that. And now you just take away from it.
Right.
And there'll be a lot of changes like that. It's gonna even next year it'll be worse. Like you're gonna see good kickers in the CFL quality become bad kickers because that's another you say 110 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you will have another 20 yards to kick a field goal, or an extra point, and they pretty much 9 out of 10. Majority of those kickers are going to miss those kicks.
Yeah, because what it'll be, it'll be 100 yards like ours, but then they'll have the goalpost behind the end zone, so the end zones will be 15 yards deep, so it's like 115 yards. Yeah, you're right. It's adding 15 yards to every kick, I think, but
yeah, and that's logic. And like now, what next? Now you're gonna have punters now, and instead of they do have punters now, but now punters gonna be more how do you say, like more adequate for this new rules. And
well, this is what trips me out about it, Phil, because his reasoning, the commissioner's reasoning, is that he thinks that more teams will want to be aggressive and throw more for touchdowns. And his whole reason he wants to do a lot of these rules is because he wants to increase the scoring. Well, this is one of the things about the CFL. I always thought the CFL was wider open and higher scoring because of the 3 downs as opposed to 4. Instead of running to set up the pass, you're passing to set up the run. So you're going to be airing it out a lot more. And there are some games, yes, that are low scoring, but some games remind me of UFL games because they'll be like low scoring for like 3 quarters, and then the 4th quarter it'll be like arena football. They'll be throwing touchdowns left and right and crazy,
And I feel, and you're right on that. And I feel like I totally feel like they taking the salt out of the mill, because that's what it is. Like what they always say about the CFL: no lead is safe. Now, like even though like these rule changes, say you win in 34-16, what is still like these rules are not meant to be comebacks. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm not going to be like these certain people that, I'm not going to watch the CFL or whatnot. Like, I'm going to watch it. I have every right to disagree with the rules is, but I'm still going to watch it. And I know you can still watch it.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Although, I'll be honest, if they ever change the 3 downs to 4, I'll be like, oh, well, it's kind of like, all right, well, what's Canadian about it now? You know what I mean? What I mean? So it's like, and with these shortened fields too, I think it also takes away from one thing I remember back in the 90s with the CFL. Doug Flutie, that dude was like, he reminded me of Bo Jackson on Tecmo Bowl when he played in the CFL because he had the bigger field. He was still ran pretty fast. He had more space to elude defenders and stuff. And I think that's going to take away from the game. I think there are a lot of good athletes in the CFL that go for that.
Man, and it's already hurting certain players. Like, I watched, even though it was in the rainstorm, I watched Trey Ford play, and I don't know what it is. I know they still have 120 yards, but like the certain rules, it's like he's not so good.
Right.
He's like you're gonna have that's how Doug Flutie was so good, Jeff Garcia was so good, Danny McManus was so good, and they just know how to Henry Burris and Anthony Calvillo, basically they just know how to play CFL style football. And like the way they use, like, like you ever watch those games like back in the day, the way they use that 120 yards in that big end zone, like it's amazing. Like,
yeah, I love it. They'd be on the 2-yard line and they'd send like deep post patterns. It was awesome.
Yeah, like. Well, I remember the guy from out west back in the day. His name is, I don't know if you remember his name. His name is S.J. Green.
S.J. Green.
S.J. Green. He was part of the Calvillo years.
Okay.
This guy, like, when they, like, in the 10-yard line or in the red zone, Calvillo would just throw it, like, through a little post deep in the corner, and S.J. Green always catch the ball. Like, it was insane, And then, who else it is? I remember, I almost say Kevin Durant. Oh my God, Darian Durant.
Mm-hmm.
He always have a pass through the uprights, like like the end zone in the middle thing.
Right.
He always throw it through through the goalpost. And Weston Dressler always there to catch the ball,
That's a smart play. I'm surprised more teams in that league don't use it. They won't be able to use it next year, but this year they...
No. Yeah. Like, there's the people like the Weston Dressler and the Geffless. That's Nick Dempsey. They are good if you throw the ball, like, say you throw the ball through the goalpost. Because okay, you got the defender's like, oh no, I got this in the way, but I know Dempsey, he's going to complete his route, and I know he's going to be there. And, like, people like that, Kenyon Rambo, when he was playing for Calgary, he was like that, It was, like, it felt like part, CFL will always be CFL for me, but I feel like something going to be part of that, going to die next year, and I hate to say it like that.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of like the purists and the diehards are kind of worried about it too. A lot of them, and one thing when I went up there last year, Phil, not just with football, but Canada just has a complex where it's like they want stuff to be their own, and it's kind of like. I mean, you watch the news, and fortunately the people I met weren't nearly as bad as a lot of the news outlets would make you think. But you would think that Canada hates the U.S. with a passion and doesn't want anything to do with them. And the media news up there are scared to death. CBC actually did a report where they thought the state of Washington was trying to take some islands away from British Columbia, and they think it's like a slow simmering invasion and stuff. But, like, with that and the tariffs and all, it's like a lot of Canadians have a strong anti-U.S. sentiment, but like I said, fortunately, the people I met were really cool, when they said, oh, welcome to Canada, have a beer, buddy, and that kind of thing. But it's like...
And, it's like, through this Facebook page, I got so many friends, and they open me with welcome arms. Like, I got friends from Winnipeg. I got friends from Hamilton, obviously. I got friends from Montreal, and obviously I got friends in Toronto. And even Calgary. Every team, I have a certain person I talk to.
Sure.
But they will welcome you in. But if you make it Americanized, they will hate that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I totally understand that. I totally understand their gripe. And it's a shame that a man. I just think this commissioner. I think he's more looking at entertainment than the product itself, and he don't know better. He worked at TSN, and
I think he's trying to be like Adele, just be like, yeah, he's the commissioner, but really he's an employee of the owners, and he's trying to think of new grist for them. That's the impression I get anyway.
Yeah. And like I say, like, what you need to do instead of trying to make these rules think is better for the game and stuff like that, what you need to do is make your product relevant to your own country and everywhere around the world. And I feel like they're missing the big piece of it. And if you're gonna ignore it, I hate to say it, the league might fold in a couple of years. And I hate to say that.
They've had problems before. When they expanded in the United States, that was one of the reasons they did it, because they were losing money. But yeah, but it's like, there's so many. Like, you would see ads up there, Phil. Like, I saw it with both the Argos and the Blue Jays. Heinz ketchup. You'll get a kick out of this because you're from Pittsburgh. Heinz ketchup has these signs that says Canadian ketchup made with Canadian tomatoes. I'm like, wait a minute, what part of Pittsburgh's in Canada now? What the hell? It's like.
It's like the crazy thing is, my friend brought me a Heinz. He showed me a picture of Heinz. I was like, what? Like Heinz ketchup and all this stuff, and like every American thing they have like I say, what Americans have, they got their own buildings, they got their own factories, and they make it Canada's own, and. That's where people's mad, because you make a football league, not Canada.
Right.
Style.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, they say they want their own identity, but it's like they're using American. It's like, I saw one game, it was an ad for Ford, and it said, like, Ford built tough by Canadians. I'm like, come on. It's like,
like, I'm like, what are, I was like I say, like, if I ever have, like, a chance to talk to Commissioner Johnson, I'm like, what's your end game? Like, what do you see this league do in 10 years or 5 years? Because if you're gonna find, like, how can I say it like this? If you're gonna make rules and have no plan of these rules, then you just pretty much winging it, and you're gonna wing it, and you're gonna hurt your own product. It's kind of like, I'm not gonna go politics here, but you got a person, aka some guy who's just trying to wing everything, and guess what? Everything is going to crap.
Yeah.
So. What is it? Do you have a plan, or do you have a concept of the plan? And I'm all about having plans. Like, what's your goal in 5 years? What's your goal in 10 years? What's your goal in 15 years? What are you trying to do?
Right.
And I think a consumer wants to know what you're doing. What are you trying to do? And it seemed like they just ignoring everything that we are screaming for, and they want to do things is okay for appeasing to us Americans. And I guarantee you ask a guy in Tucson or Alabama, Mississippi, they don't give a damn about CFL. And that's the way it is. We are, I can't believe, we are the 1% that actually give a damn about CFL.
Yeah.
And why are you catering the 1%er? Like, we're not gonna make you rich.
No.
No,
I agree. They got to market it better to their own selves and just believe in their product some more, and not, just try to cater to America or England or anywhere they can take, like, games overseas or whatever. It's. Yeah, there's a lot of that. And that's one thing I was disappointed with when I went up there, though. It's like, I wanted to buy beer. I wanted to get, like, Labatt's. I wanted to get Molson. And they had some of that. But it's like, I would go to restaurants, and into, like, the ballparks, they would list domestic beers. Budweiser, Coors Light. It would be all the American brands. I'm like, no. I'm in another country. I want their stuff,
Yeah, and they'll say, and you look at it, made in Canada.
Right.
I go to like the duty free store every time I go, like, to Niagara Falls. The first thing I look for, I love Ricker's beer. I can't get it anywhere. You can't get it at a restaurant. You can't get it in there. But for some reason, the duty-free store, Rickers beer. And I'm like, all right, I'm buying 3 cases of this. I don't care. You know? And it's crazy. Like, everything. I understand some stuff you have to have, like, the trades and stuff like that, but I want Canada stuff if I'm up there. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Like, just like the sports, I want Canadian style. And pretty much, it's like first little sample of soccer. They trying to push soccer so much in America.
Right.
And yeah, guess what? People are going, people selling out, but we're never going to be good than the people overseas or South America.
And a lot of times when those games draw here, it's fans of the other country. I remember they had a World Cup qualifier game in Baltimore between the U.S. and El Salvador. It was a home game for El Salvador. I'm not kidding. It's like when El Salvador scored it was like, I don't know, 50 of the 60,000 people there were cheering. It was like, oh, man. But
while we talking about the World Cup, I got a question for you.
Sure.
You think it's fair that the Argonauts is after the first 2 months they have to be on the road?
No, I think, and when we get to like the predictions in a little bit, it's one them and BC has some challenges with it too. Although BC has some alternate sites they can go to in British Columbia. Toronto, it's like, they're like you said, they don't have any home games till August, and I think were they trying to use Hamilton as for some of their home games too? Or?
Yeah, I think one game is a home. It's considered a home game for Toronto, but it's pretty much they playing in Hamilton against Hamilton.
Yeah.
No, like that's ridiculous.
How would you like it if, I don't know, the Cleveland Browns held a home game at Acrisure against the Steelers? Yeah, and the Steelers were supposedly the road team. Bullshit. It's like it's like
it's up there. It's up there having like, and I have season tickets to Steelers, and it's kind of ridiculous, like how like they have those European games, and you have to pay extra amount of money in a game that you ain't gonna go, and it just is ridiculous. And I just think, and I don't know, and this is one of my knowledge. I'm trying to look for more knowledge. My next knowledge is trying to learn the Canadian college teams. Like, ain't there like a whole bunch of Toronto teams in college? Like,
oh sure, they just call it youth sports, but it's like NCAA. They have like some big, they have some big schools out there. Sure.
Yeah, and the problem is it's like youth sports versus CFL, and majority of those youth sports schools are stubborn about using their field,
right.
And that's the problem. That's the reason why Quebec don't have a team, and that's why Halfax don't have a team. Like, Halifax there's a nice stadium. All they need to build another 5,000 or 6,000 seat stadium, and you got yourself a stadium. And like Toronto, like, okay, the average people's like 8,000 or 9,000 people a game. You can have it at University of Toronto and have no problem with it, But the stubbornness of those colleges is insane. Like, your team should not be playing on the road for 2 months.
True. Like, it's crazy, and I think that's gonna really hurt them this year.
Yeah, big time. It's gonna hurt this team, and no, they're gonna win a couple of games. I agree, but they're gonna be like, are they gonna practice in Toronto, or are they pretty much gonna practice wherever?
I think. Well, it's funny you mentioned about the colleges. I think one of the colleges they do have practices, because I've seen like on Argonauts Facebook pages they have like fans go there, like after practices get autographs and stuff. So I'm surprised they don't. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they don't have like a stadium, or maybe I don't know. Maybe the ownership group doesn't think they have enough seats, or they'll get enough of a cut. Who knows?
It's like it's crazy. Like, speaking of like lack of people, like Edmonton got one of the biggest stadiums in CFL, and they got a big fan base. There's one of my buddies who he's a big fan of Edmonton. He's from Portland, Oregon, and I ask him this all the time. Like, they got a good product. The town loves Edmonton, but yet every time I see Edmonton games, hardly anyone's at this game. Now, maybe because it's like an 80,000 seat stadium, maybe it's like, okay, they're all spread out, but there gotta be, for some reason, there should be no reason being not sold out in that stadium.
I agree.
Yeah, and I feel like smaller is better, but places like that,
and Toronto is just as big as New York or Chicago or LA, and it's the only thing I didn't like about Toronto was driving through it, because even though the people are nice, the city itself is clean, driving through it, the traffic is just as hectic as driving through New York, in my opinion. Anyway.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've been to Toronto. I've been up there since '98. I went there a couple times, and thank God I don't have a license. I remember it was just chaotic, and I'm like, ugh. It's like, how are we gonna get there? But it's like next year me and Brandy are gonna do the trip in Hamilton, and I heard a lot of traffic in Hamilton too, and I'm not looking for that either. But but
that's one I'm concerned about too, because it was like I was asking people about that. They said, if you go early, and he said apparently it's kind of like in a residential neighborhood, Hamilton Stadium is, and they have he said people let you park in their front lawns, for I don't know 20 loonies or whatever. I don't know, but.
Had the same Buffalo Bills situation, or Green Bay. I went to a Steelers Buffalo game, and literally I parked at some old lady's house and walked from there. And I had my buddy, up in Hamilton. He lived right a block away from there, and I was like, I want to try to make it to a game up there. And he's like, hey, if you come up there, I'll hook you up and have a spot there, and it'll be fun. And I'm like, yeah. It's a nice stadium, I heard, and I heard Tim Hortons Stadium feels pretty nice. Yeah. But the fact is, it's like you say, it's in a residential area. That's a big downfall.
Right.
And I think a lot of those stadiums like that. Calgary. I heard Calgary's like that, and I heard BC don't even have a parking space, But
right. Well, that's one thing about Toronto that was interesting. They're the opposite. They're in the middle of their exposition part where they had the big Canadian National Exposition, and I think it's also where the old Exposition Stadium used to be. I think they tore it down to put BMO there, but. Yeah, it's like they actually had a thing. What we did, we took a streetcar from our condo, which was right next to Rogers Center, and we just took it. It was 10 miles west, and it took it to what's called the Exhibition Loop. And literally, it's one line. It just kind of ends at where BMO Field is and circles around that stadium and comes back. But and it worked out pretty well. So I mean, if you go there, I would recommend doing that.
How far from the Rogers Center to BMO was?
It was 9 miles west. It was kind of like on Lake Ontario, like Rogers Center is, but it's west of there.
Have you ever been to a game in the Rogers Center for CFL?
Not for CFL. Now, the Blue Jays game we went to last year was the first time. I would have loved to go there though, but
yeah, my first CFL game, my only CFL game, was at the Rogers Center, aka Sky Dome. That's when I saw Flutie versus Pinball Clemens, and I don't know what it was. I don't know how things was different back then, but they packed the house, and like, it not really was packed, but for CFL style, it was very packed. It was amazing. Like, it was like, I don't know how many seats there were, like 35,000. Yeah. I'd say like 28,000 was there, you know? And it's just like, I don't know, people lost love for the CFL. People are more into the NFL now. I just don't know. But even like certain baseball games, it won't be. Like, I remember I went to see the Pirate game a couple of years ago. Like, they had it on a weekday. Like, like a Wednesday night game, hardly anyone was there. Right. You know, like, you have it on the weekends, pack house, you know, but pretty much that.
It's kind of tough. I mean, you got kids in school, and then you're getting off of work, and you're hitting rush hour traffic. I mean, it's a lot of things going on, but yeah, on the weekends, it's it's during the day a lot of times. Plus, they're giving away bobblehead or whatever, so it's probably another thing.
Someone told me Ottawa have a nice stadium, and the TD, what they call TD Waterhouse Field or something like that. They got I heard that they say like when they have, you remember they used to be the Renegades.
Yeah.
And they say, and like when they had that little hiatus, that sabbatical, and they say like, okay, we'll grant you Ottawa team. You should have built another 10,000 seats, and that's what they did. And then they say it was an old stadium, and now it looked like a brand new stadium. They good stuff in Ottawa. That's it. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so that's what they need. CFL need to have a plan. That's all it is.
Yep. They ought to have a plan, and we ought to rip it up. That's what I'm doing in the background, folks. So just kidding. But all right. Well, folks, we're getting close to wrapping things up. Before we do, I want to get your take on predictions for the year as far as who you think is going to be in the Grey Cup and when.
My prediction is, I think these two teams make a break this year, and if not, I don't know if they're ever going to do it. I think the face of the CFL, Nathan Rourke, have to make it to the CFL the Grey Cup this year. It ain't easy because Saskatchewan have something to say, Winnipeg have something to say, Calgary have something to say, and Edmonton have something to say. I think BC, if they win the West and have a home game in the West Finals, they will represent the West, the Grey Cup. And I totally believe that. I believe the way how they draft, they got two studs of wide receivers, and they already got two studs of wide receivers right now. And they got a stud of a running back. And you got a stud of a quarterback. Their O-line's a stud. Their defense is solid. And it's just equal Grey Cup.
Right.
And for the East, Hamilton have to make it this year. This is Bo Levi's last stand. You got everything. They did everything possible to build this team to be a Grey Cup champion. And I'm not being biased because this is my team. I just think they have Lawler. They got DeAndre Smith. They got defense. You know, they got McManus, even though he got hurt. I really think Hamilton's going to do it this year. And I know Montreal, I know Toronto has something to say about it, but I just think this is their year, and I think Hamilton will beat BC. It'll be a very good game, and I can't wait for that.
Yeah, like you said, Hamilton, yeah, like I said, Montreal might have something to say. I think Ottawa might make some more noise in their division than Toronto. Toronto, I think, isn't going to be their year, but who knows? Things could change. And I agree about BC and the Western Division. I think that whole Western Division now is stacked, and even Edmonton, like you said, we spoke about earlier, new coach. Their defense looks really good in these preseason games. But I agree with you as far as who's going to go. I'm going to say BC is going to take it, though. And I think it'll be close. I know Hamilton, it seems like, they have like a window and they're trying to put it together. And it wouldn't surprise me if Hamilton did take it, but I think it'll be very close, I think same matchup, but, different same task, I guess.
Yeah. You got any bold predictions this year?
I think this year, unless there's injuries, it's going to be status quo. Montreal is too Jekyll and Hyde. With Alexander, they're world beaters. Without him, I don't know. They're fighting with Toronto for the double blue tidy bowl. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
I got a bold prediction, and no offense to the people who's. Oh man, it's just so hard about the West. No offense. I think either Winnipeg or Calgary may not make the playoffs this year. I think Edmonton will do everything. They're going to scrap a call. They're going to be in the East crossover. I think they'll be in the East crossover. They're going to play Montreal. And who knows? I think Edmonton might beat Montreal, and we'll have Hamilton versus Edmonton in the East Finals.
That would be fun to watch.
Huh?
That would be fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And with Winnipeg, though, what helps them, though, they have such a great home field advantage, too. So I think that's going to carry them along the way. So,
I think this year it's a lot of last stands of great players. I think this is Zach Collares, maybe his swan song. And everyone talking about, like, Zach Collares should retire that, but I think Zach Collares still can fling it. But I just think, like, the last 2 years, I think they lost a lot of people. A lot of people retire. As either him, Oliveira is pretty much what they got left, and they have a solid defense, and pretty much like same with Saskatchewan. I think if what's the face get hurt, if Harris get hurt, we don't know who's going to be the quarterback too. Jack Cohen didn't look so good. Schrager looked good in preseason, but who's going to take the realm if Harris get hurt? And that's the thing. I'm all about. All right, who's going to be the guy behind the guy? And as of right now, the only guy I like behind the guy, I like Winnipeg guy. That's Taylor. Even though he didn't play good last preseason, but I just think all set up, he's going to be the next heir apparent for Winnipeg. That's what I think.
Sounds like fun, and sounds like it's going to be a fun season.
I can't wait, and we're going to have this every week, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to have fun with it, and it's going to be great. I can't wait,
Neither can I. All right, folks, we're going to wrap things up now. Thank you for listening. Remember to do the usual YouTube things like share, subscribe. You know what to do.
Yeah, you know what to do.
All right,
and also, I'm going to put it on my Facebook page, and if anyone want to take a gander, go gander, and I would love to hear your comment. So, everyone want to hear me ramble for an hour and a half? Please do, and I just want to say thank you.
Oh, thank you as well. I'm glad we got to get this episode out, and like I said, I hope there'll be many more after here, my friends. So.
Definitely. That's a guarantee,
Okay. All right, folks. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you next week.